So Nintendo was actually going to lose more money than they initially expected. Nintendo posted a 23.2 billion yen net loss for this fiscal year, which is equivalent to about $228 million. The cause of this? Take a fucking guess. Now, people with a blinding bias will probably shout, Nintendo is doomed, the Wii U is an aborted piece of shit, and Nintendo will cease to exist within a year. However, if you said that about Nintendo while ignoring the financial instability of another big Japanese company, that would honestly make you a bit of a fucking idiot. Sony is estimating a $1.27 billion net loss. $1.27 billion. That, my friends, is 5 times as much as Nintendo is expecting to lose. And Sony has been losing money for much longer than Nintendo. To put it into perspective, this will mark Nintendo's 3rd consecutive loss, and Sony's been performing worse than this for longer. Now, admittedly, a lot of this loss can be attributed to the Vio sell-off, but that doesn't excuse the fact that they lost a fucking shit ton of money this year. The bullshit needs to stop. Like it or not, Sony is in serious trouble. Very serious trouble. And you have to admit that a $1.3 billion loss is fucking abysmal. Nintendo isn't in a good position. I doubt Iwata's dancing a jig over this loss, but they're not the company selling headquarters. They're not the company losing multiple divisions. They're not the company that stock has been officially labeled as junk by financial analysts. I bet a lot of you didn't even know that Nintendo is technically a bigger company than Sony. That's how shit their stock is. The fact of the matter is that Nintendo is doing poorly right now, but Sony's doing worse. And I don't want to fucking hear, you're just a Nintendo fanboy. I'm a PC gamer who owns a PS4 and plans on getting all 3 consoles at some stage, but nah, you're right, I'm a Nintendo fanboy. I have an agenda for a company that doesn't even know I exist. Sounds fucking stupid when you put it that way, doesn't it? The way this news is being presented by the gaming press is really revealing of the heavy bias that exists within the gaming industry. I hear shit like, Sony is always targeted, the bias is against them. I'm sorry, but that's absolute bullshit. The fact that negative Nintendo news is always #1 on every gaming website, but shit Sony news is glossed over really quickly, exposes a massive bias from both gaming websites and gamers. And I already knew this long ago. Read any comment section of any video and it's filled to the brim with Sony fanboys. They exist and they're the worst because when you start to dispute facts, like a $1.3 billion net loss, you've crossed into the zone of sheer stupidity. You know what though? I don't blame you if you didn't know about this news, because it's hard to come by through games media outlets. Most of this news regarding Sony comes from websites like Forbes. You know, I usually like Polygon, but they demonstrated a very bad bias. Their headline article was, and I'm quoting, Nintendo posts $456 million annual operating loss. Just so you know, the operating loss is not the actual fucking loss. The actual loss is the net loss, which was substantially lower at $228 million. The headline is deliberately misleading, and the reason why it was written this way was not only to get more views and more cash from fanboys, but also make Nintendo's situation look much worse than it is, and pander to the majority, which consists of a bunch of mouth-breathing fucks. I'm sorry, but that's bad journalism, and it worked. The comment section is filled with a bunch of droolies saying, Nintendo lost $500 million, which proves that they didn't actually read the fucking article. Compare that to an IGN article regarding Sony that reads, Sony adds $200 million in unexpected losses despite PS4 success. In that title, they failed to mention the $1.3 billion loss. I wonder why. It tries to imply, well, the PS4 is successful, so Sony's gonna be okay. The difference is night and day. And people wonder why I think games journalism has turned into a fucking gong show. This is why. Is Sony gonna go bankrupt? I don't know. I don't hope so. But you can't say either for sure. The excuses, however, need to stop. You have to admit sooner or later that Sony is in trouble. Nintendo has lots of money in the bank. They're probably gonna be fine, at least according to financial analysts. Sony, on the other hand, can't afford to make any mistakes. One mistake will put their business in the shit and they'll be fucking done. I don't want to see Sony to go bankrupt. I like Sony as a company. That being said, ignoring the fact that Sony is in trouble, in my eyes, makes you a fucking idiot.